Well, howdy there, folks. James, Political Friar, coming to you again. Got the Oregon hat on, and so we're going to have a political topic on this one, and it's good news. Good news from politics. Who knew? See, the New York Times is reporting, and I think they're reliable for this particular report, that a number of senior moderate Democrats have pledged to support Speaker Johnson if the hard right Republicans choose to try to oust him. We started this channel way back when with a video about Speaker Kevin McCarthy being forced into a vacature vote, motion to vacate the speakership, and how the 8 radical Republicans, and I don't mean capital R radical Republicans like those Republicans from the 1860s, but they're just radical in their politics, decided to knife him. That's the term I've been using. I think that's still right. Knife him in the back over a deal that he negotiated with President Biden and the Senate Democrats to keep the government funded. And we've had, months of drama around, well, if not Kevin McCarthy and if not this deal, then who and what deal? And the problem has always been that these 8 Republicans who are radical are not a majority of the Republican Party. They're definitely not a majority in the House, and you need to have a majority in the House to pass a budget bill. And so these 8 folks whose demands were outrageous were never going to get what they wanted. All they were going to do is cause trouble, and that's all they've done is cause trouble. The irony is that the fiscally responsible thing to do would have been to not cause trouble. They should have been able to count the votes and realize that this tactic was lunacy. It was lunacy, and lunacy over time can't be sustained. And it's not going to be sustained in this case either, because the Democrats have decided that what political uh, points they can gain by watching the Republicans have a circular firing squad and have them squabble amongst themselves are outweighed by the reality that you do actually have to govern. And there is a vast majority of Republicans who are willing to govern, and there's only a very small number who throw fits, temper tantrums, for lack of a better word. And so the thing to do with children who are throwing temper tantrums is to put them in the corner. And it would appear that the adults have put them in the corner. So Margie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz, although I bet you Matt Gaetz will end up voting for the bill because he's just that guy, and the others of their ilk are effectively sidelined. They're where they belong, in the corner, where they can gnash their teeth and screech and wail without harming the country anymore. Good news. And let's give Speaker Johnson not just a little bit of credit for this. He did something that Kevin McCarthy failed at, and he did something that was hard. He actually did manage to bring his right wing under control one way or the other. The way that was never going to work was to give in to their demands because there wasn't a majority for their demands. And in our country, at least as currently constructed, you do still have to have a majority in the House to govern. So he managed to bring them to heel without losing his job. He didn't go the way that Kevin McCarthy went. And I suspect that part of those negotiations that he engaged in around the budget deal was, hey, by the way, when I bring this to the floor and those idiots try to boot me, I'm going to need 8 Democrats to keep me in the speaker's chair. And we now know that he's got that. He's got enough moderate Democrats to keep him in the speaker's chair and to continue to govern. He has a governing majority. It just happens to be in the center. It happens to be the huge majority of Republicans, minus a couple nuts, plus a couple of pragmatic Democrats who will get permission from Hakeem Jeffries to go ahead and let the government work. Well, good job. Boy, I really love it when I can tell a story about the grown-ups coming and doing good. So, what are we going to see? Well, remember the bill that they negotiated is basically identical to the same bill that Kevin McCarthy brought forward and got knifed for? Well, they're going to pass it now. That deal was a good deal based on the numbers in the Congress, and there hasn't been an election to change that reality. And so all of the wish casting or dreaming about uh, getting a more fiscally responsible deal and then throwing a fit when the reality hits, it's thankfully, it's probably in our past, at least for a while. Then we're going to get a bill on Ukraine, Israel, and the border. And that bill is going to pass, probably with the same basic coalition. Most of the Republicans and most of the Democrats will vote for it. And the crazy right wing won't, and the irreconcilable left wing won't. Although, thank God the left wing isn't as loud as the right wing. Goodness me, it's tiresome, isn't it? I'm not saying that the left has any moral high ground on the right. They certainly don't. The nuttiness out there surely exists, but I don't have to hear it as much. Thank goodness. Anyway, we're going to get some good news. The next thing that might happen once Congress's business is concluded for the year and we start looking at an election is we might get a decision, a real decision about whether Joe Biden is going to run for president or not. He has to run for president as long as these legislative necessities exist. He cannot be a lame duck and be a credible negotiator. So everybody who thought he might want to drop out, he might want to drop out. He really might. Once these bills are passed, he'll have an opportunity to do so if he wants to. I've already said he should. I hope he does. I hope we have a spirited primary between all comers on the Democrats' side. As long as he gets himself out by Super Tuesday, that's in the beginning of March, there'll be enough time to have a primary. That would be the best case scenario. If you see these bills passed and a healthy Democratic primary, then, good news. Weird. Good news in politics. I guess a broken clock is right twice a day, too. Anyway, it's just a thought. Let me know how wrong I am in the comments down below. Hit that subscribe button, please. That's the big thing for me right now. Leave a like and, tell a friend. I really appreciate you. Thanks.